Hello everyone. Can you see my presentation and my voice is clear to you? Please let me know. Because I'm using Zoom platform first time, so that there may be some complication from my side also. Kindly let me know whether my voice is audible. Okay. Okay. So there is no any disturbance in the voice. It is clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. Okay. So today's lecture is somewhat special one, actually. So we are trying to understand the virtual labs for heat transfer. Okay. So for that purpose, I have shared one link in both the groups, in BTech A class group and also on BTech B class group. So I hope you got that particular link. Okay. So what is meant by virtual lab? Up till now, you have conducted uh, the experiments manually. Okay. Okay, so you have conducted experiments manually. Now this VLab platform provides you the performance of that experiments on online mode. Okay, or we can say that the websites are available which will provide you the similar kinds of results as you get after performance of that experiment manually. Okay, such a labs or such a platforms will be considered as a virtual labs. Okay, virtual labs. Now once you search, we can say virtual lab for heat transfer. Okay, for heat transfer in Google, then we'll get number of virtual labs here. So I have selected the first one. This is the starting of this virtual lab conduction. So that this virtual lab is available, made available online by Amrita Education, I think so. And the link of that also provided to you. Okay, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Okay, the university name is Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. So this particular virtual lab for the heat transfer made available by Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Amrita University. Okay, so how to go for any experiment in heat transfer? Okay, so for that example point of view, I have taken experiment number 1, that is heat transfer by conduction. Okay, heat transfer by conduction. Now here, after getting the link, you can click on, okay, side by side you also can perform the experiment. Okay, so here you can click on the theory part first of all. Okay, where you get the theory related to the experiment. Okay, on this page you will get the theory related to the experiment. Now here we want to determine the thermal conductivity and the thermal resistance of the samples. Okay, so our aim is to find the thermal conductivity of material by the two slabs guarded hot plate method. Okay, guarded hot plate method. And second aim is to determine or to find the thermal resistance of the sample. Thermal resistance of the sample. Now, the diagram of this experiment is provided over here. So guarded plate, that will come to know by considering this particular figure. Okay, so first of all, we have to consider that whatever the slabs we are going to consider over here, that having circular geometry or circular slabs. Okay, having circular geometry or circular job. So circular surface area you will get, and the thickness of that circular plate you will get. Okay, so centrally you can see here the one name is in a red, or you can see the red slab having the nomenclature of EMH, and another nomenclature you will see here in the yellow slab as GH, and the similar yellow slab on the another side of you will get over here. I think you also not that familiar with the Zoom meeting, so I request everyone, please mute yourself. Okay, if you have any doubt, then only you can ask. So day before yesterday, Sobus has conducted one online meeting, and in that also I'm feeling that I'm not that much handy with the Zoom platform, but now onwards we are going to conduct all the experiments, all the practical, everything Zoom platform. So we should be handy on this platform. Okay, so I request everyone, please mute yourself. Okay, so here the centrally MH, that is the main heater, and these two GH slabs you can see around the MH heater or the main heater, that will be called as a guard heater. Okay, that will be called as a guard heater. Okay, so here apparatus, you can read that point also. A circular main heater plate MH is surrounded by an annular guard heater plate GH with a narrow air gap in between. Okay, so here you can see the narrow air gap is placed provided in between these two heaters. Each heater is made up of electrical resistance wire sandwiched between two copper plates. Thermocouples are fixed to the plates to measure their surface temperature. Now here, what we are using? Thermocouples. So thermocouples are used to measure the temperature. Okay, that will be sense. Thermocouple main function is to sense the temperature or sense the property and send that signal to the indicator. Okay, to the indicator. So here the thermocouples are fixed to the plate to measure their surface temperature. Okay, that plate temperature will be measured by the thermocouples. Now here one thermocouple is placed, and on another side also one thermocouple is placed. Two identical circular slabs of the material to be tested are placed on the either side of and in a good thermal contact with the heater plate. Now the plate whose thermal conductivity we are going to test, that slabs, okay, these material slabs are prepared, and that slabs are provided after the MH plate heater or this heater slabs, after this heater slab on upward direction also and on downward direction also, or up on the top side of heater and on the bottom side of the heater, and they are good in thermal contact. There is no any gap between there is a good contact between the heater plate and the test slab. Okay, then the two circular water cooled slabs whose surface temperature can also be monitored with the thermocouples. Now after these two slabs, okay, here you can see that these two slabs, after these two slabs, water cooled plates are provided. So continuous water flow should be there inside these water jackets or these plates. Okay, so they are having, these two plates are having cavity inside inside cavity, and the water is continuously flowing through that cavity. Okay, so whatever the heat is transferred from the heater, it will be provided to the test lab first, and then this heat will be provided to the, or that heat which is reached to the surface of a test lab, another side surface of the test lab, that will be provided to the water cooled plate, and water cooled plate will take the heat and transfer to the sink side. Okay, or it will be conveyed to the sink side. Okay, so the water cooled plate temperature will remains constant. Water cooled plate temperature will remains the constant. So the purpose of guard heater is to prevent the heat loss from the edges of the main heater by maintaining the temperature outside the main heater at the same temperature as the main heater. Okay, so why these two guards are provided? To avoid the heat loss from this side and from this side. Okay, getting everyone? In our normal experimentation, we have not provided this guard heater. The composite slab experiment we have performed, in that experimentation, we have not provided this guard heater. But in this virtual lab, we come to know that how to reduce the losses of a heat. Okay, by providing the guard heater, we can reduce the loss of heat, or loss of heat from main heater to the external environment. Okay, so main function of this guard heater is to avoid the losses and provide the constant heat input to the test lab. Okay, in the top side also and on the bottom side also. This ensure that all the heat loss from the main heater flows through the test lab. Okay, this guard heater will what ensures? It will ensure all the heat of a main slab will be main heater will be provided to the test lab. Okay, will be provided to the test lab. Getting everyone? Okay, now we will move to the theory part. Okay, so theory is, in general, they have provided that the three modes of a conductions are three modes of heat transfer are conduction, convection, and radiation. Okay, and in conduction, heat is carried by means of a collision between the rapid moving molecule closer to the hot end of a body of matter and the slower molecule closer to the cold end. Okay, so we can see that we have one example, simple example, that if you hold the rod and one end, if you put up in a in the fire, then after some time you will feel the heat on the another side. Okay, you'll feel the heat on the another side of the rod. So that is nothing but heat is flowing inside the rod. Because of what? There are two important phenomena, that is nothing but lattice vibration, and another one is nothing but electron transformation. So electron transformation phenomenon happen only in metals, whereas lattice vibration phenomenon happen in both metals and non-metals. So here only we have considering that here, because the material which we are going to consider, all these materials are non-metals only. So in non-metals, the heat transfer will happen because of a lattice vibration, or we can say that the collision of a molecule happen inside or at a micro level. Because of that, the heat will transfer. So some of the kinetic energy of a fast molecules pass to the slow molecules, and as a result of a successive collision, heat flow through the body of a matters from the hot end to the cold end. Solid, liquid, and gases all conduct heat. Conduction is poorest in a gases. Okay, so highest conduction you can see in a solids, and poorest conduction you will see in a gases, because their molecules are relatively far apart and so interact less frequently than in a solid and a liquid. So metals are the best conductors of heat because some of their electrons are able to move about relatively freely and can interact frequently by collision. So without the guard heater, cooler air surrounded the edge of the main heater would be heated by conduction and convection. The sum of the heat supplied to the main heater would be carried away by the surrounding air. With the guard heater in place and adjusted to the same temperature as the main heater, the air in the gap between is maintained at the temperature of the main heater. So no heat is lost at the edge of the main heater. all heat loss from the main heater must flow into the test lab. Okay, so here the function of a guard heater once again interpreted, why the guard heater is provided and why the gap is provided. Okay, so if gap will not be provided, then the once again the heat will loss to that particular air which is surrounded to the guard heater. Now the heat, the air present in the guard heat, in between the guard heater and the main heater will also get heated, and whose temperature is equal to the main heater temperature, and because of that there will not be a convection heat transfer between this gap air and the main heater. Okay, there will not be any convection heat transfer or convection heat loss from the main heater to the guard heater. Okay, or to the that particular air which is trapped in between the main heater and the guard heater. Okay, then the formulas are given. Now consider one dimensional heat conduction. Okay, so only one directional heat transfer is happening, that we have to consider in this simulation process or experimentation process. The rate at which the heat is conducted through a slab of a particular material is proportional to the area A of the slab and the temperature difference delta T between its sides, and inversely proportional to slab's thickness D. Okay, here in this experimentation, whatever the nomenclature are considered, that only we are going to consider. So D is the thickness, A is the perpendicular surface area, and delta T is the temperature difference between its sides. So rate of conduction. Okay, rate of conduction means heat transfer per unit time. Okay, heat transfer per unit time or heat transfer rate. So that is nothing but rate of conduction or rate of heat transfer by conduction. So here we are considering, okay, in our normal nomenclature we are considering Q only, but they have provided Q nomenclature for the heat only and T for the time. Okay, so heat per unit time or heat transfer per unit time, that will be considered as a rate of heat transfer, which is equal to K multiplied by A multiplied by delta T divided by D. Okay, so this is our normal Fourier's law. Okay, Q is directly proportional to, or Q is equal to minus K A multiplied by delta T divided by delta X, or change in thickness. Okay, so that equation we have considered, and on that basis, and where is the minus sign? We have absorbed that minus sign in this delta T, so you will not see the minus sign over here. So we have to take the first temperature, initial temperature first, and we have to minus the final temperature from the initial temperature. Then and then only the minus sign will be absorbed in this equation. And from this equation we can write the thermal conductivity as K is equal to Q multiplied by D. Here D is the thickness, whole divided by T multiplied by A multiplied by delta. So T is the time, A is the area, and delta T is the temperature difference. So here you can see delta T, initial temperature minus final temperature, T1 minus T2, and K is the thermal conductivity of a material and is measured of its ability to conduct the heat, and its unit is unit of Kelvin, or a unit of thermal conductivity. K is watt per meter per Kelvin, or in a dimensional format we can write watt per meter raised to minus 1, K raised to minus 1. So that is nothing but watt per meter per Kelvin. So thermal conductivity. So here the thermal conductivity theory part is provided, that thermal conductivity, note that a heat flow rate is involved, and the numerical value of the thermal conductivity indicates how fast heat will flow. In general, thermal conductivity is strongly temperature dependent. It has the unit of watt per meter per Kelvin. Heat transfer by conduction in a solid can be realized through the support of phonons, electrons, and photons. Okay, the individual contribution of these carriers widely depend on a materials and its temperature. So thermal conductivity depends on a material type and the temperature of that particular body. Okay, so thermal conductivity is thus a second order tensor, but in a material with a cubic isotropy, it reduced to the scalar. It is a intensive property, that is nothing but changing the amount of a material does not change its thermal conductivity. So that means what? If you change the thickness of a material, it will not affect on this particular thermal conductivity property, and it's function of both pressure and temperature. So thermal conductivity, we have seen that the effect of change in temperature and change in pressure on various types of materials. So on metals, on gases, on liquids. Okay, so this property is also depends upon pressure and temperature. So next is nothing but to determine the thermal resistance. So thermal resistance can be determined by using the thickness and thermal conductivity. So R will be equal to D divided by K. So by using this equation, we can determine where the D is the thickness, K is the thermal conductivity. So we can determine the thermal resistance. So the greater the value of R, the greater the resistance to the flow of heat. So as the value, if K value is higher one, we will get the lower resistance. If the K value is lower one, then we will get the higher thermal resistance. If the resistance is higher, then the heat transfer rate will be considered as a low for that particular material. And if the thermal resistance is low, then it will be considered as a vice versa. That is nothing but the heat transfer rate for that material is higher one. Okay, so where we can apply these laws, or where we can apply the heat transfer phenomena. So the applications are provided. So heat exchanger, that one of the application we have learned in our subject, heat transfer subject. Then building construction works, then thermal energy storage devices, then heat transfer in a human body, thermopile and infrared thermometers, thermal resistance in electronics like thermal diodes or thermal rectifiers, and used in laser cooling, radioactive cooling, and magnetic cooling. So these are the application where we can use this knowledge of conduction, convection, radiation, or in short, the heat transfer knowledge. Okay, so this theory part is provided to conduct or to have a basic knowledge to go for the experimentation. Okay, then next, near to the theory tab, the procedure tab is there. Okay, so in procedure tab, the all the procedure is elaborated, and by using this procedure only we have to perform the experiment. Okay, so first of all we have to select the material. So variety of a material is provided. Out of that variety we have to select the material first of all. Then we have to choose the diameter of that material. Okay, as the slabs are circular geometry, having the circular geometry, so diameter of the slab we have to select. Then thickness of a material we have to select. Then cold water temperature which is flowing through uh, the cold water slabs. Okay, the material, the water which is flowing through, continuously flowing through that slabs, that temperature of water is also affected. So that temperature also we have to consider. Then they have provided that the white knob in a simulator can be rotated by clicking side arrows to adjust the voltage and corresponding current, which can be used to calculate the input power. So power formula, we know that P is equal to V multiplied by I. So that will be used by calculating the voltage and current. So voltage and current can be varied, and that arrangement is provided in this simulation tab. Okay, then MHGH switch is used to set either main heater or a guard heater voltage and current as shown on the meter. Okay, so both means main heater voltage and current we can set, and the guard heater voltage and current we can set. So that will provide us the input power, how much power or how much heat, input heat we are provided for the heater. Okay, then power on button switches on the power after the initial adjustments are done. And the final word, temperature indicator is used to read the temperature at the position of the various thermocouples after a steady state is reached. So when the time shows the 20 minutes, the steady state means what? The temperature will not change after that particular time. So up to that point, we have to run the simulation, and they have mentioned over here the specific time period, that is nothing but 20-minute time period. And after 20-minute time period, the steady state will be achieved, and we can take the readings. Okay, so click the arrow on the either side of the knob to read the temperature from T1 to T8. So whatever the thermocouples are placed on the top side and on the bottom side, so it will be ranges from T1 to T8. Okay, and that will be this thermocouple senses the temperature and transfer the signal to the indicator. Okay, and indicator will show the temperature. So we can vary the knob and we can check the T1 to T8 temperatures. Okay, so procedure is also shown over here, that nothing but the temperature we have to measure and how to calculate the area of the slab. So area of the slab, test slab, will be calculated. Area is equal to pi multiplied by d square divided by 4. Okay, so here the d will be considered as the diameter. Okay, where d is the diameter of the image, not as might first be assumed. Okay, so main heater diameter will be provided. Then the procedure for real lab or the virtual lab. So we have to take the voltage. First of all, we have to consider the material. Then we have to take the voltage reading, then ammeter reading, then mean heater temperature readings we have to consider from T1 to T4 uh, uh, thermocouples. Then T5 and T6 will provide you cold plate temperature, and T7 and T8 will provide you the guard plate temperature. Okay, so these dividations you can see over here. Okay, and we have to take the readings for different materials. Okay, so then mean temperature at the surface of the specimen of the heater side will be calculated as TH is equal to T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 divided by 4. And the mean temperature at the surface of the specimen on cold plate side will be calculated as T6, T suffix C will be equal to T5 plus T6 divided by 2. So that is nothing but what? We are taking the average temperatures. Okay, once again, area of the heat surface will be considered as a is equal to pi multiplied by d square divided by 4. Okay, so d is the diameter of the specimen, and then the heat transfer q will be considered as q is equal to v multiplied by I divided by 2. Now here we know that power and heat transfer units are same one, that is nothing but watt. But here whatever the power we are getting from the slab, okay, or electrical power the heater is consuming, so that all the power will be converted into the heat energy. But what is happening, the half of the heat will be transferred in a upward direction and half of the heat is transferred in a downward direction. So that we have taken whatever the power or the heat is generated, we have taken half of that heat for the topmost section or for the bottommost section, because the similar kind of a structure is provided from the above the heater, and similar kind of a structure is provided on the bottom of that particular heater. So we can say that the same resistance is offered for the heat transfer. Okay, the same resistance will be offered for the heat transfer. So half of the heat will be transferred in a upward direction and half of the heat will be transferred in a downward direction. So we have to calculate the thermal conductivity. So Q value we know by using the equation V multiplied by I divided by 2, and K value we have to determine. A value we have to calculate on the basis of a diameter. Then the mean temperature of the surface, that is nothing but TH, minus TC is nothing but mean temperature of the surface on the cold side. Okay, this is on the hot side and this is on the cold side, divided by delta X, that is nothing but thickness. Okay, so delta X is the thickness of the specimen. Delta X is the thickness of the specimen, and our result should be in the form of a thermal conductivity K is equal to, okay, after doing this much calculation, we will get the result in the form of a K. So K unit is watt per meter per Kelvin. So thermal conductivity of a given specimen by conduction will be equal to, that will be considered as our result. Okay, that will be considered our result. Okay, so this much part is provided under the procedure section, okay, or procedure tab. Then afterward, the self-evaluation is provided, okay. So simple questions are provided that will enhance your knowledge or that will test your knowledge. So first question is, heat transfer by conduction is poorest in anybody? Liquid, gases, both liquid and gases, or solid? In which material or in which state of a material you will get the poorest heat transfer? Liquid, gases, both liquid and gases, or solid? Anyone? In which you are getting the poorest? Okay, gases, right. So gases answer is the right one. And Onkar, you have provided the solids. Okay, just only we have discussed that in gases we are getting the poorest heat transfer, as the molecules of molecules are of gases are somewhat away from each other and they are frequently collide with each other. But the molecules of a liquid and gases, liquid and solids are near to each other, so that the collision is proper one, or they can continuously collide with each other. Okay, so the heat transfer will be more in solids and liquids as compared to gases. So heat transfer by conduction is poorest in gases. Okay, so in conduction, next question is, in conduction, heat is carried by means of a collision between molecules. Heat is transferred from one place to another place by actual motion of a fluid. Energy is carried by electromagnetic waves emitted by the object, or all of these. Okay, so what is meant by conduction? Okay, so here we require to understand the definition of a conduction. Conduction definition itself shows that if the molecules are in a physical contact with each other and the heat is transferred, then that heat transfer will be considered as a conduction heat transfer. Okay, and here if the heat is transferred by using the electromagnetic waves, then that heat transfer will be considered as the radiation heat transfer. And the heat transfer which is happening because of an actual movement of a molecule, or the molecules carry the heat from one place to another place because of their motion, then that heat transfer will be considered as a convection heat transfer. So here we required the definition. So heat is carried by means of a collision between molecules. That heat transfer will be considered as a conduction heat transfer, right? Right? Getting everyone? Okay. So then next question is, in SI, the unit of thermal conductivity is, okay. What is the unit of thermal conductivity? So we know that the unit of thermal conductivity is watt per meter Kelvin, okay, or watt per meter degree Celsius. Any unit you can use, okay, watt per meter degree Celsius. So which dimensional formula is suitable for the thermal conductivity unit? Here watt per meter square Kelvin raised to -1, or watt per meter square per Kelvin. Here watt per meter square per Kelvin. Okay, no, watt meter square per Kelvin. And third one is watt per meter per Kelvin, and fourth one is watt per meter Kelvin. Okay, watt per meter Kelvin. So which for dimensional formula is suitable for thermal conductivity unit? Which one is suitable? Please let me know. Which one is suitable? Options are in front of you. You can use the zoom feature, okay, of your screen, and you can maximize the screen size, and then it will be more visible to you. Third option, okay, third option is suitable. Yes, that is the right answer. Watt per meter Kelvin. Okay, watt per meter Kelvin. The dimensional formula is watt meter raised to -1 and Kelvin raised to -1. Then the fourth question is rate of heat conduction is inversely proportional to, okay, rate of heat conduction. So here we have to remember the Fourier's law. Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx. Okay, so the conduction is proportional to, or rate of heat transfer in conduction, Q is directly proportional to area, directly proportional to the temperature difference, directly proportional to the thermal conductivity, but it is inversely proportional to the thickness of slab. Okay, rate of heat transfer, I'm saying rate of heat transfer. Okay, so in conduction, for the rate of heat transfer, we are using the Fourier's law. Okay, Q is directly proportional to the perpendicular surface area and change in temperature, but it is inversely proportional to the thickness of slab or the thickness of wall. So the option 4 is the right one. Okay, option 4, right? Area directly proportional ahe. Temperature gradient is also directly proportional. Thermal conductivity of a material is also directly proportional. Only the thickness of the material is inversely proportional to conduction heat transfer. Okay, the next question is which one has the higher thermal conductivity? Okay, the option with you: air, wood, glass, silver. Which one is having higher thermal conductivity and why? Okay, which one is having higher thermal conductivity and why? So you can answer in chat box. Okay, air, wood, glass, silver. Air, wood, glass, silver. किसकी thermal conductivity high रहेगी? Okay, D. Nihal has commented D. That is nothing but silver. Why Nihal? Why silver thermal conductivity should be higher one rather than other materials? Because Nihal, because silver is a metal. Okay, silver is a metal, and in metal heat is transferred by using two phenomenon. Okay, which one? The lattice vibration also and electron transformation also. So silver will conduct more heat. Okay, as the thermal conductivity of silver is higher one. Okay, more heat. So we will submit the answers and check our answers. Okay, all 5 answers are correct one or not. So we'll get the answers over here. So all 5 answers are correct one. Now we, after the self evaluation, we'll go for the simulation tab. Okay, after clicking on simulation tab, the simulation experimentation will get open over here. Okay, so this is the experimentation setup. You can see here. Okay, so this is the on off switch. Okay, this is the on off switch. This is the this is the voltmeter. Okay, V you can see here. You can use the zoom feature also. Okay, so this is the voltmeter, this is the ammeter, this is the temperature indicator, and this is the knob for MH heater and or main heater and guardian heater, and the time you will see over here. Okay, so hours, minutes, second, millisecond. Okay, so that will also you can you can see here. Now we have to provide, and at the bottom side the Excel formula sheet is also provided. So just put up the input values and the final output you will get over here. Okay, so final answer you will get in the form of a thermal conductivity. Okay, now the materials, which materials are available with you for the experiment purpose, the materials are also provided over here: the cardboard, then glass, then mica, then asbestos, and ebonite. So these materials are available with you. And after performing the experiment, you will come to know which material is having higher thermal conductivity. Okay, which material is having higher thermal conductivity. Getting everyone? Okay, so now we have to perform the experiment. So for the performance purpose here, one tab is, you can see one tab is there. Okay. And that after clicking on that tab, the experimentation setup will be open up. Okay. The experimentation setup will be pop up on the screen. Okay. So I will click on this tab. Let us see over here. This is the tab. On this tab, you have to click for giving the specifications for the experimentation. Okay. For giving the specification for the experimentation. So I will click on this tab. Okay. And the screen will get wider one, and you will get the options to perform the experiments. Okay. You will get the options to perform the experiments. Okay. So first of all, you can select the material. Okay. So cardboard, glass, mica, asbestos, cement, board, and ebonite solid. So these materials are available. Out of these materials, you can select anyone. So I will select cardboard. Okay, cardboard. Now then you can select the diameter of a material. Okay, diameter of that particular slab. So let it be by using this scrolling tab, you can select the diameter. Okay, so you can scroll anywhere and you can select the diameter. So first of all, I will select okay, so calculation purpose 15 centimeter diameter slab. Okay, so that diameter will be considered for the test slab. Okay, test slab having the material of cardboard. Okay, test slab having the diameter of that particular material is 15 centimeter. Then the thickness of that test slab we have to select. So let us see. I will select 0.55. Okay, 0.55 centimeter is the test slab thickness. Then cold water temperature you can select. Okay, so which is flowing over the or inside the water cooled plate. That water temperature we have to maintain constant temperature. Okay, so normally the water temperature ranges in between 10 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius, depends upon the weather condition. Okay, so I will select the 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, 15 degrees Celsius the water temperature. Then here you can see that the configuration cross section of that particular slab. So by clicking on show cross section, so it will get open up. So here you can see the cross section of the composite slab. So at the middle one, the heaters are placed. Middle one is the middle heater and the guardian heaters to the side. Then on the top side and the bottom side of this, the heater test slabs are provided, and whose material is cardboard. And on the topmost side, the water cooled plates are provided, and at the bottommost side also water cooled plates are provided. Okay, and continuously water is flowing through that slabs. Okay, so that will be the cross section. Okay, so here we can set up. Now next thing is nothing but we have to provide the voltage and current input. So we can vary the GH and MH voltage. Okay, GH means guardian heater voltage, guardian heater, and MH is main heater. So in the experiment, it is suggested that you have to provide the common or the same voltage input for the guardian heater and for the main heater. Okay, by using these arrows. Okay, after clicking on that arrow, so you will get you can change or you can rotate the knob. Okay, so here now I have adjusted the voltage to the 100 volt and current to the 0.20 volt. So that reading will be shown over here. Okay, so now once you have adjusted the voltage and current, okay, and you have provided the sufficient inputs, okay, or the specification, then you will get here the power on tab. Okay, power on tab. Okay, but don't forget to give the voltage input and the current input. Okay, or else the experiment will not start, or it will start but it will not show any reading. Okay, so after providing all these inputs, you can press the power on button. Okay, okay, here is popping that voltage of both the heater must be same. Okay, so there is some problem. I have tapped one time for MH heater, so I will tap two times. Okay, So now it will be, I think it is same now. 110 voltage is there and 0.31 current is there for both the heaters. Okay, now I will make power on. Okay, now it is power on. Now here we have to check that after 20 minutes the stopwatch will be stopped over there. Okay, now 18, 19 and 20. Okay, now stopwatch is stopped over here. Then we have to take the readings. Okay, we have to take the reading. So T1, I'm also taking the readings and you also take the readings. So T1 is, first of all we will take T1. T1 is 27.54. Okay, then click on this arrow, you will get T2. Okay, so T2 is 27.60. Then T3 is 27.14. Okay, then T4 is once again 27.60. Then T5 is 15. Then T6 is also 15. Then T7 27.14. T7 is 27.14 and T8 is 27.60. Okay, also take the readings for these specifications. Diameter how much? 15 centimeter. Then thickness 0.55 and cold water temperature 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, cold water temperature 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that inputs are provided. So this is the execution of the experiment. Okay, this is the execution of experiment. Okay, and after 20 minutes you are getting the readings. Okay, so the time is over 20 minutes. Actually we know that it is completed in 20 seconds, but for the simulation purpose, so actual time 20 minutes. If you the same time will be provided, then it will take too much time to complete the experiment. Okay, so 20 minutes time period is over here, and after that we have taken the readings for 8 thermocouples temperatures and the specification whatever they have provided. Now I will escape this and minimize the tab. Okay, now experimentations are conducted. Now I will go to this table. Okay, now I have selected the cardboard material. So voltage, how much voltage is there? 110. Okay, so after double clicking on this cell, you can edit the cell. Okay, so 110 volt. Then current is 0.31. Then I'm here, I will click double tap 0.31. Okay, then diameter is 15 centimeter. Okay, 15 centimeter. Then area of the specimen will be calculated automatically. The formula is given for the Excel sheet, so it will be directly calculated. Then next, thickness we have to provide. Thickness is 0.55 centimeter. 0.55 centimeter. Then all the thermocouple temperature we have to put up over here. Okay, so T1 is 27.54. T2 is 27.60. Then T3 27.14. T4 is 27.60. Okay, so after putting these 4 temperatures, the mean TH temperature is directly calculated. That is nothing but addition of this 4 thermocouple temperature divided by 4. Okay, so mean temperature on hot plate side we are getting. Then T5 and T6 are the temperature of the test plate on cold plate side. Okay, so T5 we are getting T5 is 15 only, and T6 also 15. Okay, T5 and T6 is also 15. So you will get the 15 degrees Celsius only, the mean temperature. It will be automatically calculated by using the formula. And finally, you are getting the answer of a thermal conductivity as nothing but 0.4257 and so long watt per meter per Kelvin. Okay, watt per meter per Kelvin. Getting this, everyone? Is there any question, any doubt? Similarly, you can go for different materials. Okay. Once again, you can click on this tab. Okay. Instead of card, you can reset this specifications. Okay. Reset this specification. You can go for the glass material. Select the diameter, same diameter if you want to select, or if you want to compare the different material for the same specification, then you select the same diameter, same thickness, then same cold water temperature. Okay. Okay. Here you can show and also the power inputs you have to provide. Okay. Then this is also MH 110, right? And 0.31. Okay. Then if you want to see the cross section, then this click on the cross section. And if you want to run the experimentation or simulation, click on run button. Okay. And wait for the 20 minutes. Okay. So up till you will get the 20-minute time period over here, we have to wait for that much time period. Okay. Now 20 minutes is reached. Take down the temperature readings. Okay. So here it is not working. Now we have confirmed. Okay. And if you want direct result, okay, direct result, then show result over here. You will get the thermal conductivity over here for the glass. Thermal conductivity of glass is 1.1 watt per meter per Kelvin. Okay. So thermal conductivity glass you are getting. Then once again you can reset this and you can check for mica for the same thickness, for the same material thickness, for the same water temperature, or you can change the things, no issue. Okay. Then you can provide the voltage and current inputs. Okay. And you can see the cross section also by clicking over here. Okay. And then you can power on. Okay. And run the simulation. So link I have shared in a WhatsApp group. Okay. So you can, you may perform this experiment on your mobile also. Then check the results. I think it is performed one time only. So it is not moving. Knobs are moving, not moving. So once again, I have to start the things, or once again, I have to refresh this website so that I will go for the next. Okay. And show the result. So thermal conductivity, here you can see thermal conductivity for mica is 0.71. Okay. 0.71. So in this fashion, you can perform the experimentation to determine the thermal conductivity of various materials and for various specifications also, and various specification also. Is there any doubt, any question? Whether you understood how to perform the experiment? How to perform the experimentation on virtual lab? Getting everyone? Is there any doubt, any question? Great, great. Others also can reply. So forum is open for everyone. You can unmute and you can give the feedback related to this experimentation. You can unmute yourself. Okay, so that will be helpful for you to increase the confidence. Okay, how to speak in a common platform, on a common platform, and uh, that will improve your communication and your confidence level also. Okay, I'm getting the comments in chat box. Understood, sir. Great, sir. Okay, thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Onkar. Anyone want to comment? Okay, forum is open for you. If you have any doubt, or you want to give the feedback related to the experimentation, you can give in English only. You have to use the English language one. So that will be help you to boost your confidence and improve your communication also. I'm doing this task because I'm facing problem. As I'm a TPO coordinator, I'm facing problem related to the communication of students and their confidence level. So I want to boost uh, my branch student so that I will get more number of offers in interviews and upcoming drives. Okay. Anyone? एवढं लक्षात ठेवा, जो फर्स्ट असतो ना, तो खरंच खूप धाडसी असतो. जो पहिल्यांदा बोलतो, जो पहिल्यांदा स्टेजवर जातो किंवा जो पहिल्यांदा करतो, त्याचं नाव नेहमीच घेतलं जातं. सो you have to grasp the opportunity, you have to present yourself, and that will be the remembering point in your life. Okay, lifelong lesson will be there for you. Be talkative. Anyone? Who is there? Is there anybody?
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಶುಭಶ್ರೀರಾಮ್ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ನಂತರ ಹಸುವಿನ ಯಾವಾಗ ಮೂವ್ ಆಯ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಶುಭ ಶೇಂಗಾನು ಅದು
So this is the problem, that when we are dealing with the new things, we are not that much confident that we will do that or not. So I'm taking the lecture first time, and I'm not that much confident that it will be good or not, and these problems arises. I think this is the cross connection happening. I don't know who is speaking. Okay, if you don't have any doubt, any question, if you don't want to comment anything, then you use this platform for the enhancement of your knowledge, and we'll stop here for the today's lecture. And for the next virtual lab, I will show another one experiment which is related to the heat transfer. You can comment your roll numbers in the chat box, and you can leave this meeting. Remaining students, kindly put up your roll numbers in the chat box. Samarth, Preetham, Thomas, and you can leave this meeting. I'm going to close this meeting.